I'm Kevin Neff, and welcome back to Kickin' in the 757. Have you ever want to try someplace different, someplace new, maybe someplace out of the ordinary, and your only requirements were that it had 60 craft beers on tap, was decorated throughout in an industrial steampunk theme, and has a bar and a restaurant on top of a bar and a restaurant with a VIP lounge overlooking the lower bar and a restaurant in between? Well, if that's the case, let me introduce you to Brick Anchor Brew House in downtown Norfolk.
Hey, welcome to the Brick.
Well, that's a heck of a greeting. You must be Phil.
I'm a heck of an owner.
Phil Smith?
I am.
Kevin Neff, Kickin' in 757. Thanks so much for having us here today.
So happy to have you here.
I got to tell you, this is probably one of the most stoked segments I was looking forward to because I had no idea not only was this here, but everything that's in here was here. So we've got limited time, so can we get right to it? Because there's just so much cool stuff here I want to share with all our viewers.
Let's do it.
Excellent. Why the name Brick Anchor for your brew house here in Norfolk?
Well, brick because it's firstly a historic building made of bricks. And it's a historical street in Granby. And when we were coming up with the name, we thought brick really conveys the thought of strength, of a foundation, of a timeless aspect. And then as we were thinking what else, instead of just calling it the Brick, we thought, you know what, we're in Norfolk, the largest Navy base there is. So it's an homage to the Navy and it's an homage to the city. And finally, coming from Buffalo, New York, kind of mecca for us is the Anchor Bar in Buffalo where chicken wings were first invented and made.
Oh,
so
really?
It's kind of tying our hometown into it. When we went to the city to open up our front here, we dug up some pictures from the archives. And you see in this one, for instance, it's a rail car. This is our building in the background. We looked at pictures like this, and we have another one with a Zeppelin over it. We said, you know, why don't we think about steampunk? Because kind of the simple definition for me of steampunk is if you look at back in the 1800s and if you ask somebody, what might the future look like? What might transportation look like, for example? They would sketch things that earlier, like Leonardo da Vinci sketched.
Okay.
And it's just, what is their concept of the future going to look like? So as we kind of got these pictures, as this one you see here, with the rail car right in front of our building, there were just some unusual things about pictures like this and another one that we found, which was a Zeppelin over the building, that got us to thinking, all right, we have Zeppelins, we have rail, we have airplanes, we have submarines, we have the Navy, we have mass transportation down here in Monticello. Why don't we think about steampunk more industrial and transportation oriented? At the top of the telephone pole that you see here, back in the day, these things were called insulators and the electrical wires ran through them.
My grandfather, who raised me, collected those.
And as a kid, I used to throw rocks at them and try and break them. But now, instead of breaking them, we're actually tying it in here to our theme. And so as you can see, Kevin, just to show you the detail that we've tried to go through to tell this story of the brick and our theme is that we were able to find someone in California who had the ability to put together insulators just like this, so just like that was up here.
Wow, look at that.
And the rail, it's a rail tie and real heavy, but again, we wanted to integrate even small details into our place. The rail and the insulation, and we carry that throughout. This is a picture of a Zeppelin, a real Zeppelin from 1922. It's called the Roma, and it was an Italian airship that the U.S. Air Force, excuse me, the U.S. Army took over. But the unique thing about that is it's very nearly over our building right now in this picture. And an unfortunate part of it is about 30 minutes to an hour after that, it unfortunately crashed and 34 people lost their lives. And it was before the Hindenburg, but yet nobody knows about it in our place in history for Norfolk. Initially, to be honest, I wasn't coming to Norfolk. I was going to go to Virginia Beach or Newport News, and my realtor kept telling me to come look at Granby Street, come look at Granby Street. And at first I resisted because my remembrance of Granby Street from 20 years ago was that it wasn't necessarily the place where you wanted to not only put a business, but not even, to walk on the street. And when I came here and just saw the vibrancy and I saw all of the kind of infrastructure and what has happened to Norfolk over the last 20 years, coupled with the beautiful building that we're in, it just made a lot of sense to me to come to Norfolk because I wanted to be part of the thread in this community and to be a place where people can come and enjoy themselves and enjoy the environment. And I wanted to be somewhere where it really felt like a community, not just a stop on the way home, where I would have plenty of regulars who would come in, we would become their kitchen, and we would know our guests and what they like. And we would treat them, my motto is the mama test, and we want to make sure that we treat everyone who comes in our door like you would want your mother treated. And this just felt like a great place to do that because it's very collegial. Just here with our foldable doors. These doors that you see, we received a grant from the Downtown Norfolk Council from Vibrant Spaces because we wanted to open up to the community. We're a community-based place.
Now, what is Vibrant Spaces? Because I've heard that term used before, and I also saw it on your website when we were preparing to come over here. What is Vibrant Spaces?
Yeah, Vibrant Spaces is a national competition and national organization, if you will, that strongly encourages in design, in the way that you structure your buildings and business plans, that you aren't separated from your community of which you're serving, that you open literally the space up as best as you can. And we thought that one of the ways that we can do that is by taking down the wall, because we want to break down barriers in the community. And this actually slides open, and we have a nice little seating, standing section outside there.
Have you seen the benefit of it already as far as patrons enjoying that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, a lot of people will go out there and just kind of, as I call it, watch the world go by. Sometimes there's nothing better to do than just sit out there with a nice cold beer and just watch the world pass by as you enjoy your story of the day. So, again, I mentioned about the details, and one of the things that I found with a magazine was a picture of an old door that looked like it came right off the ship. And since anchor is in our name, and since a lot of our interior here we wanted to design look like a ship, I found an artist, and I try to support the local community as much as I can. I have an artist by the name of Igor up Virginia Beach who came and painted this all. It's just a regular door, and had the wood dowels put on to make it look like rivets, and there we go. That's your entrance to a ship.
Phil, I got to ask you, I noticed this right when I walked in. I didn't know if this was just a replica or this looks like the old mining cars, like they push on the rails and mines and stuff. Is that what this is?
Yeah, Kev, you have a great eye. This piece is actually from the late 1800s, and some of it has been restored, especially the metal pieces on top. But what it was back in the day was a cart that you would push down the middle of a manufacturing plant where many women were sewing. So it contained all types of threads and spindles on here. So again, we wanted to give it that antique look, but at the same time, make it look modern. And you're not going to find many post stations at a restaurant when you walk in.
And as we look around today, a lot, if not most of the decorations, they're not just replicas or decorative. A lot of this stuff is authentic, isn't it?
Oh, it's authentic. It sure is. And from the artwork that we hired an artist to do, to even overhead with these fans that we had made for us up in New York.
Well, I think what's so great about it is, Phil, that from the time you walk in, you're already setting the tone of your personality of what the brick is here.
Right. Yeah, we wanted this to be a place where people can come and get a little bit different experience. And we have 3 different floors that have a little bit different vibe, but we did want to set the tone, as you say, from right when you walk in the front doors, through our navy doors, and you see this, and you see a smiling face there, in welcome to your kitchen, welcome to your place.
What's really great about this is, just it's human nature. We are always going from point A to point B, or always in a hurry to eat our meal or pay our tab or whatever. But what's great about here is you show us around, the attention is really in the details, and that's what we're hoping, and especially with our viewers, will go and look at the things that we're showing today.
Right.
There's just so many hidden little gems in here, and I know there's some more you want to show us, so let's take a picture.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I hate to do this to you, but it's what we call in the industry a tease, because you're going to have to come back next week if you like what you've seen so far at the Brick, as we continue our tour and show you a lot of the hidden nuances and gems that make the Brick such a unique destination on Granby Street in downtown Norfolk.